I should learn to start my videos with saying hi. Hi. Um, if I'm really honest with myself, then the whole retro gaming thing to me is mostly about the Commodore 64 and the PC and all the other stuff, you know, the NES and the PS1 and the Wii and the Wii U, the PS3. You know, I have a lot of fun playing those, but the real reason, you know, if each time I think, you know, why the hell am I doing this, and do I still like this? Basically, that's the question. Then it's always the Commodore 64 that pulls me back in, you know, and that always comes down to the secret wish that I've always had to either write a video game on the Commodore 64 or to at least understand how it works, you know, to develop the skill to do it. Because, you know, from the first Donkey Kong or Crazy Kong as I know it, and Galaga's, and you know, one of the things that I had in my mind was, I can do this as well. I can do this. I can make this. It's not that difficult. So basically that that thing, you know, that base of my retro gaming is reflected in what I have here. I mean, I have my PC here. I have my Commodore and my PC, and that is the most important thing. That's what I always... So last week I was browsing the internet for you know, information on how games work, and I was interested in the game loop and the, you know, the timing. There's actually some really interesting articles on the internet that go into how timing works and how do you control timing. How do you make sure that your game runs at a certain pace, at a certain frames per second. And that is important when you have to deal with hardware that is faster than you want your game to run, which is, you know, definitely a challenge of today. You have to slow your game down. In the Commodore 64 days, it was different because the hardware wasn't... I mean, it was fast enough to write a game, but you couldn't do that much in between screen updates. You know, a Commodore 64 PAL system runs at 50 frames per second. But that doesn't mean... I mean, the video chip runs 8 times faster than the CPU. And the CPU has all kinds of stuff to do, and it leaves only a little bit for you to do your game logic. So you have to be really smart. So, you know, that was the kind of thing that I was looking into. And I found something. I found something really interesting. I found something on game dev. There was this sort of a tutorial or a course. So someone said, you know, let's write a C64 game. Basically a little bit like Tony Cruz, Electric Adventures, his course, you know, let's write a retro game. Which I'm very interested in because it goes just into those things, you know, game timing, how do you set up a screen, how do you do collision detection, and all those kinds of things that have, you know, how do you keep a score, how do you shoot bullets, how do you make sure that when your player falls and he lands on a platform, he doesn't keep falling, all that kind of thing. And some things are easy. When you die, the game is over. You know, the score goes up, but picking up an item, how does that work? You know, how do you know where the item is? How do you know what the item is that you've picked up? How do you know that you've picked it up? all those kinds of things. So this guy had a tutorial. Let's write a game, and it started with step 1, and it wasn't. Uh, it didn't look interesting at all. And I read some of the comments, and I read one comment that said, you know, okay, you know, it sort of has merit, but it isn't a real game. But I'm pretty sure that by the time that he wrote that, the game wasn't finished, because I decided to, you know, to click ahead. You couldn't skip to the end, so I didn't know how many parts there were, but I had to click to part 100, and at part 100 there was a complete game. And what a game that was. I was blown away by the quality of this game. It was so good. And I was expecting some sort of, you know, poor homebrew dude writing a simple game. But this was professional quality stuff. Music, gameplay, interesting. It was smooth. It had everything. It had everything. And it had all the code. Plus explanation by the guy who wrote it. So I thought, you know, this is gold. This is, for me, this is gold. This is interesting stuff. Now, what he's done, he's gone ahead and used the Acme cross-assembler, which I've heard of before, but it's very poorly documented. The kick assembler is a much better documented assembler. I don't think the Acme assembler is even used or is even developed anymore. But the developer of this game, his name is Georg Rottensteiner. He's German. He's even written an integrated development environment for this cross assembler. But it gets even better, because he wrote his own assembler using the syntax that belongs to the Acme compiler, so Acme assembler. So that means that I've gone, you know, I've now seen, I think, well, I've seen 3 different cross assemblers now for the Commodore 64. I've used 2, and I'm gonna learn the third one, the Acme one. This guy, this Georg, has documented the assembler that he wrote, so that's good. The thing is, I don't know yet where I want to go with this. But I've always wanted to know how to write a game, and I feel that this is a good opportunity to actually look and learn. I'm pretty certain that he's, you know, in his explanations, because he does a little step at a time. You know, there's a bit of code and there's an explanation. Now let's do the next step, and there's a bit of code, and the next step, and there's a bit of code, and the code expands, and he explains in every step what he does, and there's 100 steps, and at the end there's an actual video game, which I'm going to show you when I'm done boring you with my talk. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. You know, I've been thinking, you know, what the hell am I going to do with my life? And this is one of the things, you know, that I just keep coming back to. And this may be the moment that it actually comes together, and I learn this thing. Maybe it's just about learning it for me. Maybe it's, you know, it ends up, maybe at the end of this, I think that, hey, you know, this is doable. I can write my own game. I mean, it's not impossible. Just have to have a good idea. But so maybe I'll just do videos that go into, you know, into this code, that I show you what the next step is, and I explain a little bit about it, because I'm sure that I can find stuff that needs expanding on. You know, I'm sure that Georg did his best explaining his code, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, there's alternatives, maybe there's things that it can add to it. And I may do videos about it, I may not, I don't know. But it's exciting. So, at least it is to me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm forgetting. So there's this game Supernatural, right? And it's free. You can play it. You can have the code. You can do everything. But then there's also a commercial version, which is called Guns and Ghosts, which is a bit unfortunate because it's gonna confuse people with ghouls and ghosts and goblins. But this is Guns and Ghosts. It's exactly the same game, but the commercial version has multiplayer options added. It has improved graphics. I'm sure there's a couple of bugs that are ironed out, and you can buy this version. You can buy it for £5 at two places. You can buy a floppy disk, a tape version. I think you can buy a cartridge version as well. I off the top of my head, I cannot name the sites, but I'll include links to them so that you can just check them out for yourself. Both of those sites actually refer to each other for a free download of the commercial version, but neither has one. So there is no free download for the commercial version. Of course you can find it, but you'll find a cracked version, which, you know, in this case I have a little bit of trouble with, because this is actually a good piece of work, and this guy is selling it right now, and he's actually making new games. I think there's a new Commodore 64 game underway, which is called Hyperion. I can't wait to see it. It looks a little Star Warsy, futuristic, but made by this guy, it's got to be good. Now, Supernatural is the free game. You can just download and play it. Guns and Ghosts is the commercial game. It's exactly the same. So you don't have to rip off the guy by downloading an illegal copy. You can just play Supernatural. It's a great game, and I'll show it next, you know, after this. And after that, I'll show you where I found it and what these coding steps look like and what you can do with it. I'll show you the guy's website and everything. So I'm excited about it, but I know me, and this excitement may go away, and I'll be doing pickups before you know it. I don't know, but at least at this moment, it's Supernatural. Enjoy the gameplay. And if you want to stick around for some of the code that goes behind it, then stick around. And otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye. Okay, this is Supernatural. There's only single player. Oh, no. Oh, look at this. I was just saying that the co-op play was only in the commercial version, but there's co-op play in this one as well. There's a few guys I can choose from. I can choose Sam, or I can choose Dean. Now, of course, I'm going to choose Dean. I can choose between sound effects or music. Now, I'm going to show you the one with the music first, and then I'll switch to sound effects. I have to say that the sound effects are a little bit lackluster. But, you know, not bad, but let's just try music first. I'll try and explain the game a little bit. So here we go. Plays in Greenfield, Ohio. A local newspaper mentions several missing people. Seems to be a reoccurring pattern every 44 years. We should investigate the town cemetery. Am I a cop? I think I'm a cop. I don't know. So let's go. Get ready. Now this sort of looks Ghosts and Goblins like. This is Dean, and Dean can fire 2 bullets at this moment. Boom. And I have to wait for Dean to reload his gun. And in order to reload his gun, I just have to stand still for a bit. So after I've shot twice, I have to wait, and then I can shoot another 2 bullets, and I wait again. So this is a challenge. I can pick up extra bullet spaces, so I can fire more than 2 bullets. It's actually quite a challenging game. This. One of the things that I wanted to learn about coding. Oh, there's a pickup. I've picked up something, although I don't know what it is. Maybe it's health or no, it's not a health symbol. Maybe a faster reload or something. It looks like it's faster reload. That's actually a useful power up there. There's also speed bullets. They kill any, or well, they're stronger and they will kill many. That's controller. Many enemies with just one shot. The thing is, I'm playing this on Vice and I'm using the 360 controller, and the only way to jump is with the thumbstick, and I just cannot get used to jumping by pushing up on the thumbstick. So I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes there. There's a power up. Again, I don't know what that does. Load, boom. But listen to the music. Look at the graphics. Another power up. I don't know what that is again. You can't see the bullets flying. That's a design choice, I think. You can see the screen flashing, but nothing really zooms across the screen. I just hit anything that's on my level at this moment. Boom. Oh, another power up. I'm being... oh, that's the level. It's all single screens. And now there's a bat. The bats I have to hit twice. Boom, there's one. I don't know. Oh, I want that. I want that. That's a speed bullet. Oh, I can't reach it. Oh, that's so sad. I would have been able to kill the bats with one shot. Oh, shoot. Ah, there we go. Oh, another one. That's an extra space, and that's the speed bullet. That's good, because now I can go boom. Boom. Every... Oh. Oh, it's gone. Ah, I didn't know that could be taken away from me. But it's a very rich game, isn't it? It looks good. And this is the free version. It looks exactly the same as the commercial version. Guns and Ghosts. The music is the same. See, as I have more bullets. Oh, shoot. Oh yes. It's hard. Yes, thank you. That's what I wanted. It's not very useful now, but there's going to be skeletons later, and they're going to be very hard to kill. Oh, that power-up is gone immediately too. I thought the speed bullet stayed. Okay. This level is hard because I cannot... These ledges are too high for me to jump on, so... Hey, I've got only 2 bullets now. It's not entirely bug-free, see? Okay, so the commercial version is... I mean, I've played the hacked version of the commercial version, and it didn't... it was a bit easier, so that's... that's something that's changed. Let's try... Okay. Type my name. Thank you for letting me type. Now I'm gonna try it with the sound effects, and you'll notice the sound. I'll shut up, and you can listen to the sound effects. Here we go. That's it. Bing. That's the shot. That's lackluster, isn't it? Oh. I mean... Oh, shoot. That's the I'm dead sound. This is much easier when you can. When you to jump, you press the joystick up. Pressing a thumbstick up for me is there we go. That's a pickup sound. Come on, reload. Oh shoot! Why are you not reloading? Oh, I want that. I'm not gonna get it. Ah. Walked under him. So, well, you've seen it. This is it goes on and on. The levels are imaginative. For single screen levels. The graphics look good. The music is okay. The gameplay is good. The jumping, the animations are good. And for a free game, a homebrew game that I have the code for, I'm really impressed with this. This is something I really can really dig. So pickups, power-ups, really nice. So let's have a look at the at where this stuff came from then. Yeah, so this is where I found it. A C64 game in several steps, lots of them. There are 100 steps to be exact. And this is on gamedev.net. I'll include the link to this page below in the description. And I won't forget it. And then I just want to read this out to you. Today's development is leaps and bounds, I think, beyond imagination from 20 years ago. I've always had a soft spot for the C64 after all these years, so I sat down and tried to start assembly program on a C64. Now that we've seen the result of his efforts, I find it difficult to believe that he just sat down and did it, and that came out. And I know this because before he published Supernatural and Ghosts and Guns, there were other games already. There was Joe Gunn, and but I'm thinking he did that earlier, but we'll just take it for what it is right now. Yeah. So this is how it's done. He just shows a little screenshot, and then he has a little link to step 1, which is a zip file. Now, if you look in the zip file, whoop, there it is. There's a J main assembly file. I don't know what the J stands for. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's just a name, but he calls it J main. J, and it's an assembly file. And if you open the assembly file, then I'll just full screen this. This is actually shown in C64 Studio, which is I popped behind my head. C64 Studio, which is the integrated development environment that he built himself. So it's basically standard Commodore 64 programming. This is the screen buffer. So if you write characters to this address, they show up on the screen. This is where the program starts. You want to start the program with a command like this, so there has to be a little basic program at this address. Anything you put at this address will be interpreted as a basic program. Then we initialize the sprites. We don't want to make anything visible, please. Then we set a character set. He uses decimal values here, so I'm not exactly sure what he does here. He switches the VIC banks. Now, for a starting programmer, I don't believe this, bank switching and character sets and stuff. You know, this is all. Anyway, let's not doubt his. Let's not be cynical. And then there's the main game loop. He flashes the border, obviously, and then he increases screen character this value, and then he says wait frame. He has a wait frame, so he loads the raster. This is where he. These are hexadecimal values. This is the raster register. He compares it to F8, which is a raster line right at the end. And if it's F8, it goes to wait frame. And if it's not F8, wait for the raster to reach line F8. Should be closer to the start of this line. I'm not exactly sure what he does. In every iteration of the game loop, what he does is he waits. No, he looks at the raster register. He compares it to F8. If it's on F8, he jumps back here. If it's not, he goes on, and then he does the same thing, but he jumps back when it's not F8. So I'm not exactly sure what he tries to do here. Anyway, he comes out of this and then he starts back to the game. This is some. I have to think about this. This is some. Are we on F8 already? If so, wait for the next full screen. Prevents missed timings if called too fast. So, not exactly sure what his technique here is. But that's the way he does it, you know, and that's. I mean, this is just step one, and I'm already asking questions. You know, but I'll figure this out. This is easy stuff. I just have to think about it. But that's the way he goes. And then we go to step 1B. And in step 1B, he has some extra code and no screenshot this time. And then it goes to step 2. And then we have custom characters, and we have our own character set and all that stuff. So I think it's really, really interesting, especially knowing, because by this time I was, you know, when I'd seen this, I was still thinking, you know, where's this going to end up? And I mean, I've seen other efforts that, you know, end up in games that, you know, that may be interesting, but they're not the quality that I've seen in Supernatural. That is just amazing. And then there's the final step. Here it is. Well, you can see this is the screenshot. Here are the companies. Cytronic. It says for digital download, tape or disc. Digital download is not true because you cannot download it there. And RGCD, cartridge with nifty packaging and stickers. Now, I'll include these links, but you know, let's have a look at them. And they make games. I've never heard of them. Cytronic software, but they have Commodore 64 games and VIC-20 games and other things. Look at it. It's good stuff. And this is Hyperion. This is what I just talked about. Oh, yeah. This is Hyperion. This is Georg Rottensteiner's new game. And it says here, now in production. So this looks... Look at it. Look at the animation here. Look at the gameplay. That's... I am... there's a little film clip there, so I'm very anxious to see what that is. So... But we'll try and find Guns and Ghosts here quickly. I think I may have already skipped over it. Oh, here's Joe Gunn. That's his other game. I think I skipped over it. Was it 3? We'll start from the beginning. Hyperion, Honeybee. And if they'd done this in an alphabetical order, I would have 3. there we go. Guns and Ghosts. There we go. And here it says, a digital download version is also available by our friends over at RGCD. Okay, let's look at RGCD. We go to RGCD. And we click on games. And then there's Guns and Ghosts. All right. Blah, 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 blah. There it says the retail version of Guns and Ghosts currently not available. You can buy the game on cartridge here or as a download, tape, and disc from Cytronic Software here. And then they link back to that site. So this is just sort of a merry-go-round. But this is the Guns and Ghosts game, which is basically just the same. The gameplay is a little different, I've noticed. And there's different players, Georg and Trev. I had Sam and Dean. Brothers, co-op, double Georg and double Trev. I don't know. It's just, there's just sort of a manual here. Trivia. So, interesting stuff. Now, who is Georg Rottensteiner? He's the developer of this stuff. He has a website. Ta-da! And we go to games. And here we go. There are games, but there are also c64 games. Let's look at that. This is Guns and Ghosts, but then we had Soulless, we had Get 'em DX, and we had Joe Gunn. Now, this is, and then we had Penultimate Fantasy, which is not like it's like Final Fantasy, but then not quite. So, and this is a basic game, I think. But, you know, if I see these and they're kind of listed before this game, then it sort of sounds like, hey, I sat down and started to write a game and it came out Guns and Ghosts. I mean, not that he's totally amazing. Look at this. And then this environment. So this is awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited. Are you excited as well? Then clap with me. I like it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I just thought I'd share it. Thanks for watching, people. I have nothing else to show you. Bye. Oh, I can wait. Bye.